Hello and welcome into Salesforce Court, where we had our annual media day for the Indiana Fever. An exciting time because that means the season is on the horizon. This team, a lot of high expectations going into 2026. Why, do you ask? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. You have so many veteran players who are coming in here. It's the core of this organization that is returning. I'll start. Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hull, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, who both secured a bag this offseason. And then, oh yeah, of course you have the return of Caitlin Clark. Entering year 3 after missing a majority of the 2025 season, only played in 13 games due to groin injuries and ankle injuries as well. Despite all of the issues and adversity that was thrown their way, this Fever team was still on the cusp of going to the WNBA Finals. So you can imagine why the expectations are high within this group. We talked to the entire team and, of course, Coach Stephanie White and GM Amber Cox about the expectations that are going into this year, which is right on the doorstep. The first preseason game takes place Saturday, April 25th in New York against the Liberty, and then they return home for a preseason game with the Wings, follow it up with their final preseason game against the Nigerian All-Star basketball team before the season gets underway May 9th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse against the Dallas Wings. A lot of excitement building for this Fever team and looking forward to what they can put together. Take a listen to what the Fever had to say about the year.
I mean, first of all, I spent a lot of time here. I love Indianapolis. I'm a Midwest girl. I enjoy spending time here. A lot of people like to get away from the cold. I don't really mind it as much. And also, I have every resource I need. I can be on this court every single day. I can be in the weight room downstairs. Obviously, I have the athletic training staff, and then I have a lot of my own personal stuff in the city that I'm able to do and people have to have around. And then the pickup part of it, I mean, honestly, shout out to those guys. A lot of those guys are part-time workers for the Fever and put in a lot of time. They really feel like full-time employees, but they're paid as part-time employees. And, a lot of former college hoopers or some that have even played pro overseas that are back and are looking for runs as well, and just very selfless people. And a lot of the time people play pickup and they're playing to a score. We kind of changed it up to make it a little bit more game-like, where we're playing time. So kind of playing to the first media timeout, or a 6-minute game, a little bit more than a media timeout. So you can kind of feel obviously there's only so much you can do to replicate a real game. You're never going to fully get that, but doing everything we can to kind of replicate that. And then, we're playing a certain amount of that. And then, tracking, obviously there's such great technology, heart rates wise, and, a chip that can track your accelerations and things like that. So I can kind of see that and then compare that to game data that we've had from my rookie year, and then the few games that I did play in my second year. And then even tracking that when I was at USA, it gives me a really good gauge of I'm not guessing, I'm understanding what the data is telling me, acceleration wise. And then I can kind of relate that to how my body's feeling, and then go from day to day of, do I want my load to be heavier? Do I want it to be a little bit lighter? Do I want it moderate? And then you can kind of stack those days from there. So really more than anything, using data to kind of build my workouts and build my weeks, I think has been really helpful.
Caitlin, when it comes to Kelsey, a player like that who is so selfless, asks for anything, but will give everything, what perspective have you gained being a teammate of hers? Obviously try to win a championship.
I mean, obviously somebody that's been here, I think she's going into her 9th year with this franchise, and she's seen every bit of good, bad, not as good, whatever it's been, and she's given a lot of herself. And even last year, she's literally out there until her legs didn't work anymore, and I think that's a great kind of sums up everything that she's given to this organization. But more than anything, everybody knows that she's a tremendous basketball player, but she's really cool people and just very down to earth and selfless and fun to be around, and really cares about people. And I think that speaks to why she continues to sign back here, is she enjoys the people that are here, and she also feels loved and cared for, and people are here to serve her as well, but she does it in return too. So just really fortunate that she's back here. I know I've said this before, but she makes my job a lot easier when you have somebody in the backcourt like that. I mean, I don't think there's nobody better in the league for me to play with, so just really fortunate and lucky.
So you're a class?
Yeah. Hi. Good. How are you doing?
You can tell me if this is not the case, please let me know.
Yeah.
Being able to sitting out as long as you did last year, was it also a mental break for you? You didn't have scrums. You could have said no to brand obligations.
Yeah.
You had a built-in excuse. So was there a component of a mental break?
Yes, in a way, but obviously, like, that was not what I wanted. I mean, I would sign up to do media every single day to be able to play and put my jersey on, and this is part of the job, is getting to talk to you guys every day, and you all do a tremendous job as well. So I know it's part of the responsibility of what I get to do. I mean, there's always cameras in my face, so I'm pretty used to it at this point. But in a way, it was a little bit of a mental break, but at the same time, injury is really mentally taxing as well. Like, people don't always realize that, especially when you're at the point of trying to come back and trying to get over the hump of, like, trusting your body. That's the hardest part, is like, you've done everything you can, rehab wise, and to get back on the court, and then it's like the mental block of trusting your body and knowing you put the work in. So I feel like it's a little more mentally exhausting from that standpoint. Not you guys, though.
Yeah. We're gonna jump to the other side of Chloe. Give that side.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard anything I've said, but
No.
yeah.
Steph has talked about creating depth in the backcourt, especially with your injuries last year and Kelsey going until the wheels fell off. Just what do you think about having Ty and Raven kind of backing up the backcourt?
Yeah.
Also talked about kind of you playing off the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of court rest. Just what do you think about playing?
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be something, like, that's what you have training camp for, and that's what you have the preseason games for, is to try different lineups and to try different people, and to give the people that are fighting for roster spots a chance to go out there and compete and perform. Like, I'm not going to go out and play 30 minutes on Saturday. That's just not going to be the case. That's not what it's about. It's, obviously I'm going to go out there and compete as hard as I can, but that's not what we need to do. And, I think a little bit of off the ball stuff. Like, I think mostly on dead balls, like, I think I'm the best transition player in the league. That's where I thrive. Everybody knows that's my game. So, getting the ball off of rebound or in transition, like, that's probably when I'm going to be the primary ball handler more than anything. And then, getting off the ball a little bit and catching your breath. Like, it is exhausting bringing the ball up 94 feet versus pressure every single time. So we certainly need to find somebody that can handle the ball a little bit and, give me a little bit of a break. And I think Raven and Ty and even other people through camp, Tori's done a great job. And, Kels does it a little bit. And even I think our 4s and 5s can do that. You saw AB do that a lot last year when we were really in trouble injury-wise. So I think there's a lot of different things that can give us a lot of different looks and just makes us harder to guard more than anything.
Caitlin, back here.
Hello.
When you look around, you see all the cameras, the microphones, the sellout crowds. How much gratitude do you have for just being in this space right now? With these fans and just this moment?
I mean, a lot. I'm just so thankful, and I think that was a great thing for me to, like, realize, especially when I was hurt. Like, and I wouldn't say that was something I worried about, but obviously people love you for the product you put on the floor, and hopefully they love you for the person that you are too, and the way you continue to show up, and the way you're a teammate, and the way you're a leader, and the way you love the fans. And so when I was hurt, I felt like that was something that was really humbling for me, and something that I was super, super grateful for is, when I showed up to a game and I took as much time as I could to sign an autograph. Like, that might be the only bad thing about this year, is, like, I'm not going to have as much time to sign autographs when I'm preparing to actually play a game. So I'll still do my best that I can every single time we play. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to make all the rounds around the arena. But I think that was the thing, is, like, all these young kids and these young boys, young girls, and, even older fans as well, like, they're still showing up and screaming and cheering. And that's, one, because, obviously they love this team and they love all the players on this team. But two, they don't really care how many points I score. Like, they just, hopefully they love me as a person and obviously love me as a player. And even if I'm not out there being able to throw crazy passes or hit a long shot, like, they can still find a lot of joy in showing up and, getting to see somebody they idolize, and that can give them a little bit of hope. So I think that was probably the best thing for me, is a realization of, it's not all about the way you perform every single day. And, there's going to be some tough games this year. It's, unrealistic to expect myself to perform for 44 games. There's going to be some games where you just don't make shots, and just reminding myself of that.
We're going to wrap up with Chris.
Okay.
Dumb questions, that's all I do.
Okay.
You're so good in the commercials.
Yeah.
Granted, you're playing the part of yourself mostly.
Yeah.
Have you had acting lessons and acting? What's the process?
I have not had acting lessons, but I think I've definitely gotten more comfortable. Obviously, I've done a few of them now. And the directors and, obviously a lot of these brands that I work with, I've been with for quite some time now, like 2 to 3 to 4 years. So they make it pretty easy on me. I've shot a lot of stuff over the course of this off season, so I got some cool stuff coming. I think you guys will like it, but I think, like, especially when the commercials and the spots or whatever we're making is tailored to my personality, I think that's what makes it fun and people like it. But I love hearing when fans come up to me and they're like, we like this, we like that, and it makes it fun too. My favorite? I can't pick a favorite. They're all amazing.
It's exciting. You know, it's a little chaotic, just the way that everything worked out in an unprecedented offseason, not having as much time to know your team and put it together. But at the same time, it's exciting because we have great depth in this gym. We have great competitive spirit in this gym. Look, I've been around long enough to know that it's one step at a time, one day at a time, and everything has to align. But at the same time, we got great experience a year ago, taking that next step and understanding the importance of every game and the difference in playing that game on the road versus playing that game at home, and understanding that there's going to be bumps in the road, and you know how we navigate it matters. And I think that our group got a lot of great experience a year ago.
Obviously, there was a lot of freak injuries, but with the way things played out last year with the injuries and all that, did that change the way that you approach strength and conditioning coming into this year, be it personnel-wise or approach?
Well, I don't approach strength and conditioning because I stay in my lane. That's not me. But you know, I think for all of us, it's a learning curve. Like some of it's maybe controllable, some of it's not. You know, what we do in the off season to prepare us for the season is important. You know, I allow that to be the professionals, you know, in that realm. And it was a lot of freak things that I don't think there's any way that you can predict. But at the same time, it's sport. And that happens. And, you know, I'm thankful that we have a coaching staff that has been through that could help our players that hadn't been through that navigate it. You know, and I'm also thankful that we had a coaching staff that was able to continue to put one foot in front of the other and lead through that. But I'm even more thankful with our team because, you know, the women in that locker room, no matter what we were going through, stayed together. They embraced one another. They embraced our new pieces. They stayed together. They put one foot in front of the other. And collectively, I always talk about, you know, connected teams are winning teams. And I think collectively, this group took ownership of being a player-led locker room, continued to stay together even through the tough times, and that matters. And I'm so glad that we learned that lesson in a positive way. That it showed them that we've got to own that every year. It can't just be when things are bad, but adversity reveals character, and the character of these women was on full display.
Steph, I know last year there was all the talk about winning the championship, and unlike a lot of coaches, you kind of embrace that. Same talk again this year. Why is that important to you to embrace that and have that message around your team? How, you know, they say you're the best, you got to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, everybody wants to win championships. Like that's the competitive spirit is part of why we do what we do. You know, and you got to put it out there. Like, right? You got to put it out there. You got to talk about it. But at the same time, you know, I think for us, understanding that doesn't happen now. Right. It started in the off season. Once we get our team together, it starts with every day we prepare, putting ourselves in position to win. And look, again, I've been around long enough to know that everything kind of has to align, right? Everything has to align. But the things that we can control, we've got to control every day. You know, we can't look ahead. We got to be where our feet are. We've got to stay focused on continuing to grow, continuing to improve, stacking our days. We got to keep the main thing the main thing. You know, there's a lot of noise out there, and just talking about it doesn't mean that we're going to be about it, right? And so we've got to prove that every day that we step on the floor. And I love this group, the competitive spirit. I love that this group is not afraid to talk about what we want to accomplish. And now we've just got to continue to grind and put ourselves in position for that.
Coach, the injuries last year that were mentioned, are there any plans to kind of manage minutes or games for players like Caitlin or even Kelsey?
Well, we'll talk about that as we get closer to Saturday. You know, I think in a perfect world, you're not playing, you know, your starters heavy minutes throughout the course of the regular season. In a perfect world, we've got a consistent rotation. We're managing that, not from an injury standpoint, but just from a game load standpoint. I mean, we play 44 games in a tight window of time. Last year was the first year we played 44 games, and players want to play, so they don't want to come off the floor. But having the depth to be able to get a full rotation, I think, is going to be important. And understanding what that looks like and to be able to manage it, you know, in the best way to give us the optimal opportunity for success.
Steph, in regards to Kelsey, you won a championship here with the Fever. She's been here for a long time. She would like to win a championship. How foundational has she been, and for what has she been for this franchise? And I get that it changed in the last few years with the addition of Caitlin and Aaliyah, but we saw also what Kelsey means to this team when you all rolling last year.
I mean, she's huge. You know, I don't think there's a faster player in the league with the ball than Kelsey Mitchell. I don't think there's a scarier player in the league to guard one-on-one than Kelsey Mitchell. And, you know, for us, putting her in position to do what she does best so that she doesn't have to think about it, she can just do it. was a priority. And Kelsey and Aaliyah really put us on their shoulders, and they elevated us to that next level. And Kelsey is a player that you want her to reach the pinnacle. She has been through the highs and the lows of this franchise. She has loved this game and treated this game with so much respect. I remember when she was a freshman in college and I was calling her games, just watching the way that she worked in pregame. And she loves basketball, and she's a pro's pro. And so, we want to get one for her. There's no doubt about it. She deserves this opportunity. She deserves this moment, her contract, everything that she's getting. And I'm thankful she's on our team.
Candace Scott, I think that's probably all. How are you doing?
Good.
Obviously, CBA was the main thing during the offseason, but once during the regular season last year, officiating was a big talking point. But once things calmed down, the temperature was lowered, was there any conversation with the league about improving officiating, and do you have more confidence in this year's group?
There were lots of conversations about officiating in the offseason, lots of committees that met and talked about it, but talking about it and making changes are two different things. And so I think for us collectively, coming to an understanding of how we want our game to be called, coming to an understanding of what those demarcation lines look like, and then it's up to the officiating committee and their group to really put it into practice. And so from a coach's standpoint and a committee standpoint, we want to hold them accountable to that. So do I hope that there's improvement? Of course. But just like athletes and just like coaches, it takes time and it takes experience. It takes commitment to being consistent with it. So I hope that we're going to see a lot of whistles early, and that's going to continue because players will adjust. Players are good enough to adjust, to how it's going to be played. We just need it to be consistent, and we need to be consistent across the board. So my hope is that all the work in the offseason, we're going to see some results from it.
Last one was Scott.
Steph, with Team USA, I was wondering what kind of collaboration and conversations we're able to have amongst the coaching staff as you guys try to get better in what you're trying to do with each other?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, everything from terminology to play call sheets and substitution patterns, to actions that are running, to practice and preparation. It's such a small community, such a small world, and it was fun to be able to have a lot of time to work with Kara and with Nate and with Natalie. Nate and Natalie, I hadn't had a lot of prior relationship with outside of just meeting them. Kara I had, but not in that environment. And so it was great just to have conversations and to see the way that people do things differently and to grow. I think every time you have an opportunity to be in the gym is an opportunity to learn and grow. And not just with our group, but then in our opponents. Some of the things that our opponents were running, it's like, oh, I like that action. I think that'd be good for C, or oh, I like that action. I think it'd be good for Kels or AB. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's super important. I think it, once again, just allows you to be able to play with people that you don't typically play with. And I think that's always a great opportunity, especially in the off season. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, when you get the uniform on and you realize the preseason is this weekend and you expect this and hope this to be a very long journey, what's the excitement level knowing, okay, we're about to take that first step?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think Media Day is always super fun because, the season is literally right around the corner. And there's no better feeling. I feel like off season always just feels like the longest time of our lives, and now the season's here, so we're ready to go.
Aaliyah, we were talking to Stephanie White earlier. She was saying, hey, we do want to win one for Kelsey. Obviously,
Yeah.
But what has that bond been like for you, like player to player, person to person, and also do you share, I guess, that responsibility or that urge to try to go win a championship?
Yeah, I mean, I love K-Mitch. I love Kelsey so much. I think she's just made my time at Indy just so much fun, and she's just been a great vet for me. And definitely, I think Kelsey's just poured everything into this franchise, into this program for years. And so, obviously, us getting so close last year, and especially the way that we ended, I mean, for her, this would be amazing. And I feel like every time we go out, that's our mindset, is winning a championship and bringing that back to Indy. So that's always at the forefront of our minds.
Colin on the right.
Yeah, Sophie talked earlier about managing her podcast, but also being able to be successful on the court.
Yeah.
You're someone who's continued to be successful on the court, grow on the court, but also manage your own, outside. How are you able to do those different things? What are you doing?
I mean, it's just about being able to compartmentalize. Like, I know my schedule and knowing what it's going to take, especially when I'm on the court, making sure that everything I do is to better my performance on here, and you can't let things get in the way. And as for my podcast, I think everyone, our producers, we have a great schedule of what works, and sometimes I'm like half eye open when I'm about to record, but I mean, it's always super fun, and Candace is a great time, so it's always lively.
back here with Candace.
Hey, Leah.
Hey, good.
Obviously, championship of us may be too binary. However, after what happened last year, how far you guys got in spite of all the injuries, is it a reasonable expectation that that's what the mindset is here?
I won't even lie. I feel like as a competitor, it's always championship or bust. Like that is the approach every single year. It's like we want to win a championship. We have to win a championship. And I feel like with that being our mindset every single year, no matter who has Indiana going across their chest, it just allows you to understand like this is what we're working towards and this is what we're going to make our identity.
Scott?
Lee, can you walk us through just kind of what your offseason entailed on the court, what you were able to get done? Because it felt like you were playing some of your best basketball until that injury.
Yeah, I mean, off-season started, I went home. I was training pretty much 5 times a week up until Unrivaled. I took a little 2-week vacation. I went to Barbados, so that was pretty fun. But I honestly was in the gym a whole lot. And then obviously I went to Unrivaled early December, and I was there the entire time and was playing great basketball. So, I mean, it was a grind. I was in the gym pretty much every day.
We're back to James here.
Leah, you've dealt with the national spotlight for years now, but I'm just curious, you always talk about like, okay, players get better physically or skill-wise. How have you perhaps developed and changed when it comes to just handling the mental workload that comes with being a star?
Yeah, I feel like you just take it day by day, experience by experience. Sometimes I handle it pretty well and sometimes I don't, and that's just the honest truth. And just being able to understand like this, sometimes it's just not going to be the best. You're not always going to feel the best. But honestly, I think spending an off season with Kelsey Plum was really great for me when it came to working on my mental. I think KP is a great example of, she doesn't care. She moves on, next possession, anything that happens is just look at the next play. And so that's kind of my approach this year is don't worry, look at the next possession.
We always had home training.
Oh, you in my business? Ooh.
Leo, your contract, that's obviously a long one as well. I want to know if that changes your demeanor, or at least makes you relax a little bit, knowing that you're kind of locked in for a while.
I mean, like, relax, sure, in the sense of I know where, like, home is. But, I mean, I'm just always going to be working. Like, I feel like every single season it's about bringing a trophy back home to Indy. And so that's always going to be my mindset and making sure that we have the right people in the locker room to do that.
Back to Scott and then Elliot.
Elliot, what was the uniqueness being at Unrivaled during the CBA and Mo right there too, a new teammate?
Yeah, stressful.
And the conversations that you guys could have and things you might be wondering about, all those things.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, obviously you have conversations about teams and like telling people, oh, you should come play for us. You can play for us. And Mo was obviously Kelsey's teammate, so I think Kelsey probably did a little bit more negotiating for Mo. But I'm super excited that she's here. But I mean, everyone was just kind of talking about the CBA when we were in Miami, just making sure that we'd get one signed by the time the season came around. But I mean, everyone was just open to conversation, loved to talk. So, yeah.
You were named decoy of Unrivaled this season. What do you think that you must improve, and how cool was the Unrivaled experience?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big jump. I think season 1 in Unrivaled, I barely played, and so to actually get the opportunity to play this year and show that and was super fun for me. Winning Depoy was pretty good, too. I think it's going to just help motivate me this year to continue to be that defensive presence at the rim, on the perimeter, anywhere that the team needs.
Are you aiming for Depoy in the WNBA?
Oh, you want people to come at me, see if I get that award? I got a few things written down in my little journal.
Not really. So me saying that, maybe a little bit. But honestly, I just think, sorry, hold on. Okay. Jeez. With the new CBA, it's great, right? There's so much more money out there. There's so many more benefits. And I think when you're in a building era of your franchise, then it's wonderful, right? Like you have all this money, you just got to get people in. But when you're kind of already an established crew, you're trying to get all your core players and all the people, your pieces back under that umbrella. And so I do not envy Amber, Coach Steph, Kelly's job whatsoever this offseason. And that's speaking for all of the GMs and presidents and coaches. I think they were in a pretty tough position, especially with the time frame. But for me, my main focus was just get to a team that embraces me, embraces who I am, allows me to be me, who I'm a person who shoots the ball. I'm a good teammate, and I think I'm a pretty good culture kid. And so I'm so happy to be back here in Indiana. I know that our core is too. I think we can do something really special when you add a few pieces in, and so we're all getting to it.
Chris?
Hey, Sophie, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm just so fascinated by kind of dual role, whether it was Shanae when she was active for Draymond.
Oh, yeah.
Doing his
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
And now you.
Yeah.
Just how do you have the time to do both?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a very fair and valid question. Honestly, you find time, you create time, you prioritize things. And for me, it's keeping the main thing, and that's basketball. But at the end of the day, I'm talking about basketball. I watch all the games. I'm focused on the scout. And so it's a really cool kind of player perspective of, kind of getting the insight of what we think and what we see. And so Draymond has done a phenomenal job at that. Janae has done a phenomenal job at that. And I'm just dipping my toes into it. I really love the broadcasting space. I love talking ball. I know ball a little bit. I know the players in and out. And so I'm really excited about my role with USA Sports.
And a follow-up, you went to the best journalism school in America. But
I did not graduate from that school, but yes.
Also, just, as you noticed this week,
Yep.
You're honest and you're blunt, and you said something and Twitter blew up.
Yeah.
Does this make you a little bit more gun-shy?
No.
Going in?
No, media is going to do what media does, and I think you guys know that. You guys are a part of that, and I think if everyone watches the full clip, that I'm very calm, cool, and collected. I think sports and media in general, we need more honesty. We love clickbait. I know that's what pays the bills and whatnot, but I think that's something that I'm going to bring to the broadcasting space is just honesty, authentic stories. That's what people love. That's what people cling on to, and so I've been on both sides of media, positive and negative, and I want to be someone who brings smiles, who brings positivity, and so I really hope that I can bring that to the broadcasting space. I think if you have conversations with your friends and do all that, of course anyone can clip a little something and it can just blow up and be not what you meant at all, and so I think as much negativity as I got on that, so many people are like, hey, we love the authenticity, we love the honesty, we think that more players should speak like that, and so for me, it just opened up a different perspective of, hey, I want to tell people stories, and I want it to be positive. I want it to be them. And so when all this stuff happens, now I get to be you guys, and I get to share the story. So I appreciate that question.
Kristen Scott?
Sophie, you've always been so comfortable in your own skin, be it broadcasting, on the court, photo shoots. How do you get that? Is that something you had at an early age? And how could you inspire young people like, hey, be you and go out there and do it?
I love it. I think that simply is just be you. I have a lot of great, powerful women figures in my life. My mom, my aunt, my grandma, my sister. And they're not just, they're tall, big women, and they have their shoulders back. And but I really just get my confidence in God. My identity is in Him. And I think nowadays you see a lot of athletes where you're not just an athlete. You can have more avenues. You can get your feet wet in different things. Now, I do think you need to keep the main thing. And I think that's super important. But that's my biggest thing with little kids is, if you have a passion, you have that fire inside of you, go for it. Nothing's holding you back. Go for it. And so I think that's my biggest thing is if it's in you, go out there, be the hardest worker, put a smile on your face, and enjoy life a little bit. Not everything's so serious. You know what I mean?
Scott, then AC.
And to that end, I'm wondering what was it like to see in less than a year of that podcast, your face on the Giant JW, one of the few athletes that have appeared on that?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think I'm a little oblivious, and I didn't really grow up here in Indiana, and when I was here, there's always something up there. But to me, I think the most impactful thing is little boys and girls who are like, we want to do that one day. How did you do it? And I was like, just be you. Be you. That's the most important thing, and work hard. And so to see your face up there and for people to kind of ask how you got there, it's meaningful, it's impactful, and that's why I just want to be a positive light in our culture.
You guys were so close last year to possibly winning this entire thing.
Yeah.
You've been around for some time. What excites you about this season, and just how motivated are you to try to close the deal this year?
Yeah, I think when you get that close, that it hurts even more, right? Like if you don't even make it to playoffs, you're like, one day. But when you're that close to getting there, it just leaves not a great taste in your mouth. And so I think we're all motivated. We don't even have to motivate each other. I think training camp has already been phenomenal. Not only the people coming back, but the people coming in, they know what they're coming into and our expectations. And so when you have people like Kelsey Mitchell, who's just a dog, like a dog, you have AB, you have Caitlin, and then Lexi's playing phenomenal. You have Monique Billings, who is a complete athlete, rim to rim, just a great rim protector for us. And then Maisha Hines-Allen, like, I'm just glad we're on the same team. And so I just feel like we're really stacking our roster. You have young bucks like Raven, heck of a defender. And then you have me, hey, what's going on? And so I just feel like we're stacking the pieces. We're building our training camp brick by brick, and that's what you got to do. We know where we want to be big picture, but it's super important that you get your daily investments in, and then you'll get there.
Brian?
Sophie Cunningham class that you have in January back in Columbia.
Yep.
If you could just speak to the importance of staying connected to that community and kind of helping grow the game back home.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it's all about. When you get blessed with a platform and you get blessed with opportunities, it's all about giving back. It's making the next generation, better than how you had it, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do back home. I was born and raised in Columbia, and I feel like my parents, gratefully, we had the means to. Sometimes it was really, really tight, but we had to travel to the East and West Coast, and you had to travel all over the country when we had great talent right there in the Midwest, specifically in Missouri. Maya Moore, Nafisa Collier should be some names that click for you guys. But that's why I'm like, hey, let's go 5 miles down where we were raised and bring all these top-ranked kids to Columbia, Missouri, and show them the culture, show them how awesome Columbia is. And so that's exactly what we're doing. We have great brands like Adidas, Yeti, Quest that really pour into these kids and give them really anything and everything, because that's another thing. We all grew up and we all got the hand-me-downs of the boys, which is great. We love the men, but I don't really want to be wearing the same clothes as them sometimes, and so we really make sure to empower young females to be girls if that's what they want to.
Along those lines, how has the game grown in Columbia, Missouri?
I think, overall in general, with just social media and the eyes that are on women's sports in general, it's huge. And so back when I was there, I feel like our team was a pretty big deal. And now it's just you can't even compare the two, really. And so I'm just really proud. I am not jealous whatsoever. I think these young girls, they absolutely deserve it. And I'm just here trying to help them grow their, platform as well.
I think that's where I grew the most, if I'm honest. It was at a time where, like I said, it sounds cliche and it sounds boring, like the same song and dance, but this place was empty for a long time when I first started my career here. And I knew what it was like to connect with the fans on a personal level because, we didn't have as much, leeway to, really engage. And so me being outside was just me being a family person, me being a person, me being a human, really, because at the time, we didn't have that many fans, and so the fans that did come out and support, it meant a lot to me, and it was just a way of showing appreciation, really, man. I wouldn't trade it in because it kind of made me get to this point in my career, but I wouldn't be anybody without that.
What would it mean to win here in Indiana? You've been here for a while.
Yeah.
Tyrese tried to do it.
Yeah.
Reggie Miller, Tamika Catchings, to be viewed as the person that got to the pinnacle, at least got to that stage.
Yeah. It's really humbling, even to be a part of those conversations. When you think about a Reggie Miller and a Tamika Catchings, it's like that's rare air, and I know what it takes to be there. I know what lengths I have to go to continue to make those kind of leaps, but I think the state of Indiana has been really, really graceful to me. I was always loyal by default, but I think that it was always for the right reasons,
How much time did you spend in the off-season wondering what was next as the off-season dragged on, as all the negotiations went on? First of all, you had to find out what was going to happen with the league.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, how much did you have doubts? Did you have wonders?
I think we all have. I think as a player, you always have doubts. I think when you love something and you're passionate about it, the last thing you want to see is not happening. I think we were all kind of on the edge of our season arrival as a group because that's when you lean on each other and made people want to feel like some good things could happen out of it. And I think that for me, it was about staying patient. I think the timing of not knowing what was going on was perfect for me because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so the time that it did take without the CBA, it was time for me to reset, really figure out what my heart was about things and about my career. And I was grateful for the time, to be honest.
Kelsey, from very few fans and, to be honest, very few reports around you at the very beginning, and now at this moment of the WNBA, a lot more attention, a lot more discussions from other sources. How have you dealt with maybe people maybe wanting to know a little bit more about you? Maybe you may
I think it's naturally in my personality that I'm a little bit more conservative, a little bit to myself, a little bit more quieter. But since the quote-unquote eyes that we've gotten, I've grown. I've embraced it a little bit, but I've also made sure that I didn't lose my soul in the process. So like I said, I'm a human's human. I want to be able to connect with the people, connect with our fans, and I want to still be me. And so that growth that I've taken throughout the course of all of that has just been good for me. And I'm glad I went through it because it's bringing out a little bit of more of what I need on and off the floor now.
Kelsey, money may not be the driving factor in most, but you've always played overseas.
Yeah.
With contracts being bigger now, do you still think that'll be something you or other players do or consider?
It would have to be a drastic, unique situation for me to go back overseas. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Where I'm at in my career now, I'd rather play it smart, make sure my body is what it needs to be. And then also, respecting my craft. I feel like sometimes you go overseas, you lose sight of some of the skills that, or some of the perfecting of your skills that you miss out on just because you're trying to go make a couple dollars. Like I said, I got a soul, and so I'd rather make sure that I'm right before I want to keep going overseas and missing out on a lot.
But Unrivaled is still play potential.
Yeah, for sure. That was good basketball, and it was in the United States, so I can't really complain.
Well, Brian, then Scott.
For free agents looking at Indiana, how did you sell them on Indianapolis? And then once they're here, what recommendations you make them once they get to town?
Believe it or not, the first thing I said was Indianapolis is a city. It's a sports city, and I feel like when you have the city support, it's not as bad as it seems. You kind of build your own quote unquote little family with the city of Indianapolis. These fans have done a great job of rounding around us, even when it was bad, and so I can appreciate it. And so that's the one thing you sell to some of the best players in the world. And after that, it's just chemistry and wanting to play free. And I think Steph did a good job of showing that throughout the course of the world. And me being able to play free last year was just one of the things that you want to sell to players that's trying to win. And I think that with CC and AB, I think we done a really great job of building a chemistry that can't be broken, and I think that it's something to really hang your hat on because we trust each other. We constantly building with each other, and I think practice lately it's been really great for us because you get to see the free agents and the ones that do come in, really see how we gel, and hopefully get embraced by it.
Kelsey, what went into wearing Hallie ones, and are you a sneaker free agent?
Yeah, I am a sneaker free agent. I love Tyrese Halliburton as a person, even more as a player. I'm just kind of figuring some things out and trying some things out. But I said, why not in the city of Indianapolis with a guy like Tyrese Halliburton and all the things he's done for the Pacers? It was only right to see where I'm at, and Puma feels really good today. So shout out to Tyrese.
For me, I live here during the off season when I'm not at Unrivaled or traveling. So this was home. This has been home the last 4 years. So we just wanted to have a season, and once the season was going to be for sure, then it was a matter of just making sure that we brought back the people that we wanted back here. And I think we're just really excited about the group we have, the group that came back from last year, and then the pieces we added. And for me, again, this is home. So I'm just so excited to still be here for the next 2 years.
So you weren't thinking of where can you go next?
No, I looked around. I had conversations with other teams, and it wasn't the easiest decision by any means, but it was the right decision, I think, for me. So just really excited about this year.
James on the left.
Lexi, you've been with Kelsey now for a number of years. You're, I guess, one of the more veteran players on the team as far as tenure.
Yeah.
Can you maybe describe that relationship that you built with her, and is there a moment or an instance where you saw okay, this is the person I can believe in and trust because she gives so much to this franchise?
She's an incredible person first, and then obviously she's incredible on the court, but I think for me, coming in as a rookie, she was just someone I could look to for guidance, look to for support. She's been here, we were here in 2022 and on, and what we went through together on the court, off the court, it's been really special to just build that relationship, and I'm just so happy that she's back. I think she means so much to this community, to this franchise. She means so much to me, just as a friend outside of basketball. So just really grateful to have her, and I think we're only building more and more on our relationship that it was founded in 2022.
WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engel said that they wanted to host the game outside of North America. How excited would you? How much would you want to play that game? Where would you want to play? There's a good answer.
I don't know what I'm just kidding. I would love to. I think that's huge for the game, huge for the sport, huge for the WNBA. I think it'd be an incredible experience, not only to get to play somewhere else, but to explore the world with our team. I think that's what we're so excited about this season is achieving a lot on the court, accomplishing our goals, but also to continue to get to know each other off the court, and being overseas, being in a city that's new to a lot of us would be really special.
Take a hint where it's from, Lexi.
France would be great.
We'll go Tony, then Scott.
Lexi, being one of the players who finished that game in Vegas last year when the season ended, how often do you think about that night now, and in what ways is the way the season ended motivating for you guys this year?
I think it gave us a taste of how much we can accomplish with whoever we put on the court. I think, obviously we had so many injuries last year, a lot of adversity, but we were so proud of what we put out there with what we had. And I think, looking back, it proves that it really does take everybody, and we believe in everybody. And I think with that foundation and that belief in each other, we can really accomplish anything. So for us, we're so close to making to the finals last year without some of our core pieces. We're just so excited to be healthy this year.
Lexi, did you have any notable interactions with Mo down at Unrivaled? And then more to that, I'm wondering just what was it like as a scene down there? As so many of you are free agents, maybe conversations had or not had about what's next and how it might directly impact you in your business.
Yeah, it's an interesting place to be, especially during free agency one, but also with the new CBA negotiations. There were conversations every day of updates. What are we hearing? What are we thinking? What are we asking for? So I was really happy to be there, to be in the middle of those conversations and just hear what's going on and be able to see where people are at. Because everyone's at different stages. Everyone's asking and wanting different things out of the new CBA, out of new contracts for themselves. So to kind of get to build those relationships, hear more, learn more, it was really special. And obviously, Mo being on Kelsey's team, so I saw her a bit. And Unrivaled's so special because you're crossing paths with everyone every day. And whether or not you're on the same team as someone, you're still getting to know them, which is really cool. So I really do value that in Unrivaled.
I'm going to cream on the left here.
Obviously still early in camp, but anybody individually having a particularly good camp so far that's caught your eye?
Yeah, I've been impressed with all of the rookies. I think they've come in with great energy. They really are sponges. They're asking a lot of questions. They're very receptive to feedback, and they're picking it up quick. I think that they were really lucky to have rookies that are so excited and eager to be here. So, Raven, Justine, KT, all of them, they've been really great.